everyone. Leanne and I are here with questions and answers regarding announcement C2403, updates to health and safety, pre-service training, and professional development requirements, which was released on December 20th, 2024, and effective as of January 1st, 2025. The purpose of this announcement is to issue updated health and safety pre-service training requirements for new child care providers and staff hired on or after January 1st, 2025, and who have not previously completed an acceptable health and safety training. This replaces announcements C2202 relating to updates to health and safety training and professional development requirements, and C2206 relating to updated health and safety pre-service and 1-hour training. Pennsylvania is required to maintain compliance with the Office of Child Care, Title 9841, relating to health and safety requirements, and 9842, relating to enforcement of licensing and health and safety requirements. The Office of Child Development and Early Learning, OCDEL, in conjunction with Better Kid Care, have made revisions to the previous health and safety training, Get Started with Center-Based Care, Revised 2022, Get Started with Home-Based Care, Revised 2022. The required health and safety pre-service training has been broken down into 2 parts. This change will allow for staff to meet the requirements to care for children unsupervised after the successful completion of 1 3-hour course, in addition to pediatric first aid and pediatric CPR and mandated reporter trainings. The total hours of the required health and safety pre-service training is reduced from 10 to 6 hours with this update. Beginning January 1st, 2025, staff of a child care center or a group child care home and any owner or operator opening a child care center or group child care home who have not completed an acceptable previous version of health and safety training are required to complete the pre-service training courses titled PA Required Health and Safety for Centers, Group Child Care, Part 1 and Part 2. Staff of a family child care home and any owner or operator opening a family child care home who have not completed an acceptable previous version of health and safety training are required to complete the pre-service training courses titled PA Required Health and Safety for Family Child Care, Part 1 and Part 2. The announcement lists what is required to care for children unsupervised. The following required health and safety training topics must be completed before child care staff can care for children unsupervised. PA Required Health and Safety for Centers Group Child Care Part 1 or PA Required Health and Safety for Family Child Care Part 1. Pediatric First Aid and Pediatric CPR conducted by an approved Pennsylvania Quality Assurance System, PQAS, instructor using an OCDEL recognized curriculum. Recognition and reporting of child abuse and neglect, which is mandated reporter training. Refer to the keepkidssafe.pa.gov for a list of approved courses. Mandated reporter training must be 3 hours and must be appropriate for child care employees or volunteers. Child care staff who have not completed Part 1 of the health and safety training, pediatric first aid, and pediatric CPR, and mandated reporter training must be supervised by a trained, qualified child care staff person until the untrained staff have obtained the required training. In addition to the health and safety training topics previously outlined, the course titled PA Required Health and Safety for Centers Group Child Care Part 2 or PA Required Health and Safety for Family Child Care Part 2 must be completed within 90 days of hire. Prior to submitting an application to open a new child care facility, both parts of the PA Required Health and Safety for Centers Group Child Care or PA Required Health and Safety for Family Child Care must be completed by applicants who have not completed an acceptable previous version of health and safety training. For a list of acceptable previous versions of health and safety trainings, please refer to the announcement. Let's go through the frequently asked questions to get some answers to help you in understanding this announcement. Does Part 1 have to be completed before Part 2?
There is not a required order. However, Part 1 must be completed prior to caring for children unsupervised.
Can staff complete Part 1 and 2 at the same time, or do they have to wait a certain period of time between taking each part?
There is no required time frame between completion. However, Part 1 must be completed prior to caring for children unsupervised, and both trainings must be completed within 90 days of hire.
Can we count the health and safety trainings, Part 1 and Part 2, towards the required annual minimum 12 clock hours?
Health and safety trainings may be used once toward the required annual minimum 12 clock hours. Trainings completed as part of an initial application for a certificate of compliance will not be counted toward the required annual minimum 12 clock hours.
If our facility hires a new director, does the director have 90 days to finish pre-service trainings?
Yes, the director has 90 days to finish pre-service training. Just remember, minimally, PA required health and safety for centers, group childcare Part 1, pediatric first aid and CPR, as well as mandated reporter training must be completed prior to caring for children unsupervised.
Thanks so much, Leanne, for answering these questions. Thank you for joining us today, and we will see you next time.